Alright everyone, welcome back again.
シンジの男友達ってあんただけでしょ。それにお忘れでしょうが、私これでも弓道部の首相なの。うちの問題児と辞めちまった問題児をくっつけるのは自然な流れだと思わない？
まあ確かに自然だ。弓道部ってのは関係ないけど、俺とあいつは腐れ縁だからな。
あ、カチンときた。あんたね、弓道部の話になると急に冷たくなるでしょ。いいご身分よね。シンジをほっぽっといて自分はさっさと退場しちゃうんだから。後に残された私とかさくらの気持ちとか少しは考えてくれてもいいんじゃない？
シンジのやつまたなんかやったのか？
あいつが何もやらない日なんてないけど、まあそれにしても昨日のはちょっとやりすぎか。1年の男子が1人辞めたぐらいだから。
Mitsuzuri sighs seriously. It's rare for her to make a face like this, but even more than that, I can't ignore what you just said.
なんだよそれ。部員が辞めたってなんだよ。
シンジのやつが八つ当たりしたのよ。わざわざ女子を集めてね、夢を持ったばかりの子にシャをさせて的中するまで笑い物にしたとか。
The student should have pointed his bow at Shinji then and just shot him.
はあ？お前そんな馬鹿げたことを見過ごしてたってのか？
見過ごすか？けどさ、首相ってのはいろいろと忙しいんだ。いつも道場にいるわけじゃないってエミヤだって知ってるでしょ。
それはそうだが、にしても何考えてんだシンジのやつ。必要以上に厳しく教えることはあっても素人を見せ物にするようなやつじゃないだろう。
呆れた。エミヤっては本当にあれだ。
あれってなんだ？今お前よからぬ感想を漏らさなかったか？
あら、私はあくまで客観的な事実を連想しただけさ。それで気を悪くするのはエミヤの勝手だね。
I mean, on the one hand, you can think of it as Shiro being unfazed by anything that ever gets thrown at him. But whenever, you know, someone he cares about gets threatened, that's when he acts upon it. So it's a double-edged sword with his attitude towards being, you know, insulted, or he's basically able to just sweep it under the rug and not worry about it too much, whereas everyone else is like questioning, you know, like with Shinji, he's annoying as hell, and Chio just takes it because like everything that Shinji does to him is just like, you know, it's a little kid thing. It's he just like overlooks it and that's it, and then he just moves on, but everyone else gets affected by it.
ついさっき聞いたような返答をしやがって。いいよ、それよりシンジはどうしたんだよ。なんだってそんな真似をしたんだ。
聞いた話じゃ遠坂にこっぴどく振られたとかなんとか。
Good.
遠坂ってあの遠坂か？
うちの学校にあれ以外の遠坂なんていないでしょ。2年 A 組の優等生、ミスパーフェクトこと遠坂凛よ。
いや、そんなあだ名は初めて聞いたけど。
It's the first time I've heard that nickname, but I would probably agree with it. With Tosaka involved, I can understand even Shinji getting turned down, and most of all, if it was Tosaka, I can see her refusing him mercilessly.
ともかくシンジのやつは昨日からずっとその調子よ。おかげで私もこんな時間まで道場で目を光らせてたってわけ。
シンジのやつ変にこらえが効かない時があるからな。三綴大変だろうけど頑張ってくれ。
はいはい。けどね、シンジって懲りないでしょ。 また遠坂に声をかけて振られた日には今度こそ遠坂本人に何かしそうでさ。
いや、いくら信じても振られた相手には近寄らないだろう。あいつそのあたりはちゃんとしてるぞ。
けど相手が近寄ってくるんだからしょうがないじゃない。遠坂さ、なんか知らないけどうちの道場をよく見学に来るのよ。エミヤは辞めちゃったから知らないだろうけどね。
That's the first I've heard of it. Tosaka Rin doesn't do any club activities for personal reasons. I thought she went straight home since she even turned down the recommendation to join the student council.
ま、たまにはそれもいいか。あいつもお高く泊まってるし、一度ぐらいは痛い目に遭うのもいいかもね。お気の毒様っていうか、ご愁傷様っていうか。
Mitsuzuri says some dangerous things. Come to think of it, I've heard that Tosaka has many enemies. Could Mitsuzuri be one of them?
おい、三釣り。いくらなんでもそれは。
あ、そろそろ時間だ。じゃあね、エミヤ。今度私の弓の調子見に来てよ。
Mitsuzuri hurries off.
相変わらずだな、あいつ。
But I like that part of her. Feeling calmer now, I head for the classroom. It's lunchtime. Our school has a splendid cafeteria and most students eat there. But there are some old-fashioned students who bring their own lunches. Two of them happen to be me and the student council president right in front of me.
エミヤ、その唐揚げを一つくれないか。俺の弁当には圧倒的に肉分が不足している。
いいけど、なんだってお前の弁当ってそう質素なんだ、一世。いくら寺だからって酒も肉も取らないなんて教えがあるわけでもないだろ
う。何を時代錯誤なことを。これは単に親父殿の趣味だ。小坊主に食わす贅沢はない。悔しいのなら己で何とかせよなどという。いっそ今からでも天祖になるか。俺も考えどころだ。
ああ、あのじいさんなら確かに。
Issei's father is the priest of the Ryudo temple, and a bald guy who's old friends with the old man at Fuji in his place. You can't expect a normal personality when he's friends with a guy like that.
それは。じゃあ、いつか恩返しを期待して一つ。
I hand him my lunchbox.
いやいや、ありがたく。これも托発の修行なり。
Issei bows deeply. How can I put this? I never know what to say when things like this remind me that he's the son of a priest.
ああ、そういえばエミヤ、朝方2丁目の方で騒ぎがあったのを知っているか。ちょうどエミヤと別れるあたりの交差点だが。
交差点？
The intersection this morning. He must mean that clamor with all the police cars.
なんでもな、殺人があったそうだ。詳細は知らないが、一家4人中助かったのは子供だけらしい。両親と姉は刺殺されたというが、その凶器が包丁やナイフではなく長物だというのが普通じゃない。
A long weapon. He must mean something like a sword. It was a murder, so that must mean the sister and the parents were killed. I picture it. Someone barging in during the night, unjust violence, a one-sided pillage like an accident, slash parents, the sister killed without even knowing what's going on. To the side, the child covered in their blood.
一世、それ犯人は捕まったのか？
捕まってはいないようだな。信徒の方では欠陥工事による事故、こちらでは辻切りめいた殺人事件だ。学校の門限が早まるのも当然。どうしたエミヤ、喉に飯でも詰まったか？
別に何もないけど、なんだよいきなり。
いや、エミヤが厳しい顔をしていたのでな、少し驚いた。すまん、食事時の話ではなかったな。
Issei tries to soften the air apologetically. I was fine with the topic, but I was really making such a nasty face. And then there's a quiet knock at the door.
失礼。竜道はいるか？
ああ、はい。なんだ。
Issei addresses Kuzuki, who just entered. It must be a simple talk about the student council, as Issei seems pretty relaxed.
へえ。
I agree. When a dude like that, I don't know if I can be calm. That's not something you see every day. Despite his appearance, Issei's very shy. The guy who draws a line against his classmates and even his teachers is letting his guard down with Kuzuki.
真面目なとこで気が合うのかも。
Kuzuki Soichiro, the teacher in charge of Class 2A, is serious and stubborn. Probably that aspect helps him get along with Issei, who prizes order and discipline. If I remember correctly, I think Kuzuki here is related to Shizuki from Witch and the Holy Knight. At least he happens to be somewhat connected to him in his village in the mountains, I believe. They share the same, I guess, they share the same fighting techniques or something, which makes perfect sense. The two continue to talk. All the while, I can't get the story of the murder out of my head. Classes end and it's time to go home. I cannot go anywhere as I have work today. I should leave the school and go straight to the neighboring town, but... Still worried about the conversation I had this morning. I made my way to the archery club before I knew it.
もう、何やってんだ俺。
According to Mitsuzuri, Tosaka-rin comes here often. Well, I really don't care about that, but I know that Shinji getting angry at her is going to be a problem.
シンジのやつ、カッとなると止まらないからな。
It's bad if Shinji gets violent just because she turned him down. I don't know why it's bad. It just is. It makes me feel bad just thinking about it, so I have to stop it from happening.
なんだ、遠坂いないじゃないか。
Tosaka isn't around. Mitsuzuri's worries were needless.
へえ、誰がいないって？だから誰がいないって？
And there's Issei, whom I just left behind.
お前か、一世。あんまり驚かすなよな。
いや、エミヤが挙動不審げに道場を眺めていたからつい。で、誰がいないって？
誰って遠坂だよ。なんでも昨日シンジと一悶着あったらしいんだ。それで一応様子を見に来ただけだ。
ほほう、挙動不審だな。聞かれてもいないのに理由まで話すなど。俺は誰がいないかと聞いただけなのだが。
なんだよ、別にいいだろ。俺が何しようが俺の勝手だ。
うん、それはしかり。だが無駄だぞエミヤ。遠坂はここにはいない。なぜならあいつは今日ずる休みだ。
Oh, that's right, she did.
何？
On the second day. Skipped school. So, she was absent today?
そうか、欠席か。待て一世。なんで遠坂がずる休みなんだよ。あいつがそんなのするわけないだろ
う。するとも。あいつが風邪などひくものか。俺が見たところあいつは悪いやつだ。外見に騙されるとパクッと食われるぞエミヤ。
Somehow, Issei's words annoy me. It's true that I don't know her, but I can't imagine that she's a bad person.
言い過ぎだぞ一世。遠坂はそんなやつじゃないだろ
う。ん？なんだ、エミヤも遠坂狙いなのか。ああ、それはすまない。今のは流してくれ。
After Tosaka? Who said anything like that?
勝手に決めつけるな。俺はただシンジが揉め事を起こしたら大変だから。
シンジが遠坂に殴りかかろうとしたら止めるためか。またそんな役回りをするな。別に俺は気にしないが、割と趣味が悪いのだなエミヤは。
I quite frankly disagree with this dude, but I mean to each their own.
してないから損じゃない。けど伊勢、お前今変なこと言わなかった？
ん？遠坂狙いは趣味が悪いってことかい？
そう、遠坂は人気あるじゃないか。俺もあいつの悪い噂は聞かないぞ。
ああ、聞かないね。それがまた気に食わない。
気に食わないってどの辺がだよ。
だから全部だよ。あれは女狐だ、女性だ、妖怪だ。とにかく生理的に気に食わない。悪いことは言わないから、エミヤも気に入らないようにしろ。
You should try to hate her too.
いいっせ。人の陰口は良くないってお前の口癖じゃなかったか？
Is she the exception, Issei?
たわけ。これが陰口に入るか。俺は聞こえるように喋っている。
Ah, no wonder I feel someone's eyes from the archery dojo. Thank God. I'm so glad Tosaka is absent today.
頼む伊勢。悪いが早速陰口にしてくれ。
うん。エミヤがそういうのなら了解した。が、とりわけ中傷していたわけではないぞ。単に竜道一世が遠坂凛を警戒していると言っただけだ。あくまで個人の趣味嗜好の範囲だろう。
その割には妖怪だとか女狐だとか言ってたけど。
And I think the term schoolgirl is a discrimination.
何？褒め言葉だ。女狐にも妖怪にもいいものはいる。
That's quite the turnaround. Nice save if that was one.
あくまで遠坂を表現する値として採用しただけである。かつ。
Issei laughs.
それではな。俺は生徒会室に戻るが、エミヤはバイトだろう。こんなところで道草を食っている暇はなかろう。
He must feel refreshed now that he said everything he wanted as he leaves calmly. I've known him for 2 years now, but I still don't understand his personality. In 20 minutes after taking the bus from my school, I arrive at the neighboring town of Shinto across the bridge.
なんだ、まだ5時前か。少し時間があるな。
Miyama City is a residential district, so there's no part-time jobs there, but the developing Shinto has many available. The school approves of students having part-time jobs, so I work a few easy ones. I prefer hard physical labor that ends as quickly as possible. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone as it builds my body while I get paid for it. Today's job is a simple loading job from 5 to 8 o'clock. 3 hours. Even though it's only 3 hours, there's 6 hours worth of work to do. They make you run around without a minute's rest. So I should rest when I can, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It's a waste of energy walking around to my job, so I guess I'll rest in the park. This park among the buildings is like a big field. A park should be filled with people like families and lovers on weekends, but it's empty here now. No. This place is always desolate.
相変わらずだな、ここは。
I'm a bit sad. The utterly neglected ground looks awful compared to the neatly organized surroundings. The desolate area makes the wind feel cold. This is the remains of the conflagration 10 years ago, and this is the place where I was saved from burning to death.
なんで芝生とか植えないんだろう。いつまでもこのままってのはもったいない。
It's a large area, so if they retiled it, the park would get bigger. Thinking absent-mindedly, I sit down on the bench. I stare at the burned land to pass the time. I don't remember what happened here back then. I probably don't remember because I was a kid, and it would have been an easy scene to memorize. All I can remember is that it was hot and I couldn't breathe, and that people died trying to save others.
どうしてそうなのかな。
For example, an adult that tried to save a child from a burning house. He saved the child, but died in its place. For example, there were people who had their throats burned, but they gave what little water they had to one guy and the others died. For example, there was someone who ran alone to get away from the fire as fast as possible, and everyone that he passed on the way died. And for example, People who died because they gave away something that was saving them only to save others they didn't even know. Survivor's guilt. Yeah, it shows. I didn't like things like that. It makes me mad that those who tried hard were sacrificed. Am I greedy to want an ending where everybody's safe and happy? No. All I wanted was to see people relax peacefully, so why couldn't I manage such a simple thing?
それは難しい。シロの言っていることは誰も彼も救うということだからね。
Kiritsugu answered to the question I asked as a child. Of course, as a child I denied it. Because Kiritsugu saved me, I knew he was a sorcerer who could do anything. I knew he was a superhero who couldn't ignore people in need, who saved them for no benefit. So I believed Kiritsugu could have saved everyone back then. When I told him that, he made a troubled expression and said something that I remember to this day.
シロ、誰かを救うということは誰かを助けないということなんだ。いいかい？正義の味方に助けられるのはね、正義の味方が助けた者だけなんだよ。
I understand that. It's obvious now that he said it. Let's say there's a robber and some hostages, and the robber intends to kill the hostages. With normal methods, most of the hostages would be killed. Even if you use a miraculous method to save all the hostages, there will still be one person who isn't saved. That, of course, is the robber whose hostages were rescued. The people a superhero saves are only those he decides to save. That's why even God cannot save everyone.
それが天才ならなおさらだ。誰であろうと全てを助けるなんてできなかった。
The fire 10 years ago was like that. It's not something I, who was miraculously saved from it, can talk about now.
けど嫌だ。
I don't want such a thing. I don't want help that has limited capacity. You have to help no matter how impossible it is. I can't stand to have strangers dying around me like back then. So if I had been there 10 years ago, even if it wasn't possible, I would have gone into the fire and...
そのまま無駄死にしてたろうな。間違いなく。
That's for certain. Jeez, I'm hopeless.
しまった。ぼんやりしてたら5時になっちまった。
The 5 o'clock bell rings. I stand up and quickly make my way to my work. When my job's done, the sun has already set. Oh, I think this is the part where, just like from the perspective of Rin, she saw someone staring at her on the rooftop of a building. I'm pretty sure that guy was Shiro. That makes sense, though. It's a bit before 8. I finished 10 minutes early because I worked too hard. Seems I worked frantically since I went to that place before work. Here in front of the station, the night's just getting started. There are lots of people and a constant flow of cars on the road. The buildings are still lit up, and just looking at them makes me feel like I'm watching a grand festival of illumination.
藤姉にお土産はいいか。
I walk while looking up at the lighted building. It's the biggest building in Shinto, so I can't see the top clearly. I just gaze up at the building, just enjoying the night scenery. When I think I see something out of place,
なんだ今の。
I stop and stare at the rooftop. Boom, baby. I focus my eyes, looking at the things as small as a grain of rice. It looks like someone I know. Why is she there? What would she be doing there? With her long hair fluttering and doing nothing, she looks down at the town. It doesn't seem like she noticed me down here. No, there's no way she could see me. She's so high up that I, with better eyesight than most, can barely see her by improving my vision with magical energy. I can recognize her since she's standing there alone, but there's no way she would notice me down here among all these people. She's just looking down the town. Maybe she's looking for something, as I can feel her sharp stare even down here. I forget about time and keep looking up at the girl standing in the sky. She is on top of a tall tower. She's like a witch looking down at the earth with the moon behind her. And then, she must be done with whatever she was doing as she disappears. Her figure has disappeared and the scene returns to the beautiful view of the night.
今の 遠坂だったのかな。
I have no proof, but I think I'm right. There aren't many girls with looks that stand out that much, and more than that, I'm not stupid enough to mistake a girl I secretly admire.
そうか。にしても
Well, Tosaka sure has strange hobbies. Unlike Shinto, there's no one in Miyama City. After 8 o'clock, there are no people around, and the town is terribly quiet. At the junction is the house I saw this morning. There's no sign of people, and the door has a "Do Not Enter" sign. After only one day, the house is as quiet as an abandoned building. Parent and older sister killed by the burglar. What kind of life remains for the child left behind? I bite my lip, feeling powerless. Even after swearing to become like Kiritsugu, I can't do anything about something that happened so close by. Even though I want to help someone in the end, I don't even know what I can do. I climbed the hill and reached the Emiya house. The lights are still on, so Sakura or Fujine must still be there.
ただいま。あれ、藤姉だけか。
おかえり、シロ。
Fujine turns around, munching on a rice cracker. The TV shows a loud variety show.
もうまたこんな時間に帰ってきて。冬は日が暮れるのが早いんだから、もっと早くに帰ってきなさいって言ったでしょ。
だから早く帰ってきてるだろ。8時までのバイトを選んでるんだから、これ以上無茶言わないでくれ。で、さくらはどうしたんだよ。なんか晩飯の支度だけはできてるみたいだけど。
さくらちゃんなら早めに帰ったわよ。今日は用事があるからって晩ご飯だけ作ってくれたの。
Fujine says so happily. As far as she's concerned, anyone who cooks for her is a good person.
そっか。確かにしばらくはその方がいいかもしれないな。最近は物騒だし、いっそ新学期まで晩飯は俺が作ろうか。
反対。シロ帰ってくるの遅いじゃない。それからご飯作ってたら食べるの10時過ぎになっちゃうよ。
あのね、そこに自分家で食べるという選択肢はないのか、あんたは。
だからここが私の家だよ。
Fujine seems puzzled. Honestly, I'm not sure if that makes me happy or sad.
わかったよ。藤姉に飯を作れなんて無理難題を言ってもしょうがねえ。それはいいけど、足元のそれなんだよ。また余計なものを持ってきたんじゃないだろうな。
Fujina has terrible habit of leaving junk at my place. Large bowls from restaurants, a heavy teapot she got in the shopping district, a strange guitar that plays by itself. I think she thinks of this place as some kind of warehouse.
ちょっと見せてみろ。ゴミだったら捨てるから。
これ？うちで余ったポスターだけど。
Fujine hands me the poster. It's probably some infamous idol or something.
どれどれ？
Here we have a military-style guy with his thumbs up on a cheap-looking blue sky background. In letters like blood it reads, "Love's lovely Ranger Land. Please join the self-defense force." Hold on, this is an army recruiting poster.
それいらないからあげるね。
俺だっていらねえよこんなの。
I roll up the poster and hit Fujine with it.
へへん、外れ。
But Fujine deflects my attack with a poster she had hidden and counterattacks mercilessly. Bam! The poster lightly knocks my... Stars! I saw stars!
シロの腕で私に当てようなんて甘いわよ。悔しかったらもうちょっと腕を磨きなさいね。
そんな問題じゃないだろう今の。なぜに紙のポスターがかような破壊音を。
Could this be the skill of a master?